Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, beautiful people, wherever you are watching us from. You are welcome once again to your favorite program, our favorite program, The Conversation, coming to you from TV360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Nelson Ekujumi, and I have here with me on The Conversation, comrade Alhaji Razak Kolade Olukova, popularly called RKO. Comrade Olukova, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, The Conversation, like we all know, is a topical issues program that look at happenings in Nigeria and in diaspora. Top of the bill today, just last week, Thursday to be precise, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria signed into bill the new tax law. You remember that there were four tax reform bills before the National Assembly, and the National Assembly passed the bill and awaited the presidential assent. And just last week, Mr. President gave his assent to the bill. It has become a talking point in the polity today because the bill has become the game changer. Even the organized private sector and all segments of the Nigerian society are commending Mr. President because one of the drawbacks of our old tax system in Nigeria is that people have always complained that it is outdated, and one of the greatest complaints from the business community is the multiplicity of taxes. You know, the federal will tax you on the same taxation platform, the states as well as the local government. But under this new tax law, you have a tax law that makes exemptions for the basic necessities affecting the common man. That, you know, things like food, medicine, you know, will not be tax free. And you also look at the exemptions to low income earners. If you are earning below 1 million naira per annum, you know, you are exempt, you are given a tax free rent of about 200,000 naira. And if you are a business, a small scale industrialist, you also have, if your annual turnover is less than 50 million naira, you are also exempted from the tax net. So the new tax law is one that is people focused. It's about taking from the rich and giving to the poor. The consumers of luxury items, you know, they now have to pay more, and that is to tell you, like we were taught in our secondary school days, that a vibrant tax law must be progressive. That the more you earn, the more tax. But you know, if you earn little, you should be taxed less. And the essence of taxation in any society is to redistribute wealth, is to limit
and bring about development.
Yes, is to limit the inequality.
Any developed entity is a taxing entity.
Absolutely.
If you look at all the countries of the world, I would say an example of what we call developed. You look at how the sweat of the people has actually developed their nation. It's not when you take part in a particular venture, that's when you say you are developing your nation. It's your commitment to paying your taxes. It's one of the major things. And you know, what the president is doing shows you clearly that he's someone that understands the terrain.
Very well.
He's going to do more. In fact, a time will come, and that is why we don't want him to look back, where certain taxes will no longer be within the purview of the federal government again. We are coming to that.
Yes.
We are coming to a point where resources of each country will only be taxed by federal government. It's going to be in the control of the state. All you are doing now is tax run. So that states who are so familiar with getting money from Abuja should brace up.
Yeah.
That's the direction we are going.
Yes, absolutely.
The more work you do, the more money
you get, yes.
And you know, for people who earn little, like you have said, this is a two-way thing for you. If you aspire to be big, you must be willing to pay more. What the only institution that we'll have to advise that as the name is changing, attitude of the taxing institution must also change. It is too cumbersome to pay tax in Nigeria. Yesterday, I paid 352,000 naira education tax, and police fund, police fund. Yes. And before I got to that point, we've been on it for 2 months. To pay tax,
You know,
you will go in, they will ask you to come back.
The bottlenecks, the
You have to
bureaucracy
simplify
around
it.
it. Okay.
25% of people who don't pay tax today, it's not because they don't want to pay tax, but because nobody has gone to them to ask for tax. They walk up to FRSC and they become frustrated. So they left. And because you don't need any document anywhere as a requirement before you get it. So they live their own. They live their life. They live until now that when you mention your company's name in anywhere, there's a platform for the person to check. Maybe you want to apply in the embassy. The embassy will see whether your company is active with FIRS. That's when people now start paying tax. So they need to simplify
the tax.
Payment. It is very, very important. Another thing is that the federal government must also not leave explanation to me and you and a few other people doing this explanation alone. A lot of people ask me, explain this thing to people. The government need to do more in terms of explaining your policy to Nigerians.
In fact,
it's a beautiful thing that the president has done.
In fact,
the beauty of it is missing. When it's only me that can explain in English that.
Yes. And Comrade Lokoba, you know, the beauty of it is that the ease of doing business.
Yes.
That has been the focus of previous governments, and
yes,
they've not been able to. Now this present administration has simplified it, and like I said earlier on, the essential items such as food, education, healthcare, public transport, residential rent, and exports are zero rated to ease inflationary pressure. Then you also look at the value-added tax, system. It remains 7.5%.
Yes, that's for certain people who are made certain
the value, and what the government has done is that, if you remember, when Mr. President sent the bill to the National Assembly, the response from some quarters were very laughable.
Yes, yes.
Somebody said, we don't even want to read it, just let Mr. President withdraw it. And Mr. President said, look, this is the essence of democracy. Whatever anybody has in his mind or idea, you throw it for public debate.
Yes.
And that is how the society move forward. For example, the value-added tax is one that has changed the percentage of the sharing ratio.
Yes.
Now it is 30% proceeds based on consumption. I think before that consumption was about maybe 10 or 20%.
Yes.
So it means if people consume more in your community, in your state, and you generate maybe 1 billion, you can be rest assured that you get 30%
of that money back to your state.
So that
answers a lot of people that are saying that farm products are not taxed. But when it becomes finished product, you'll be taxed.
It depends on the type of finished product it becomes.
It is wrong. When I say, see, you are going to have tax return because they tax you. It's from your money, the tax that they will return back to do your road.
Yes.
States where it has not become finished product. That's their problem. That's one. Two, those things that you say they are not taxing, start growing it in your own region too.
Yeah.
If it is cow that are not taxing,
it will make it cheaper.
Make you to start having cow in your. If it is whatever.
If it is CNG plants.
Nobody stops you from having it too. So it's either here nor there. And when you say governance, this is governance. As time goes on, we understand our peculiarities. This taxing model is peculiar only to Nigeria.
In fact, it has been receiving applause from
and it's going
everywhere.
to work because of our peculiar nature. Our peculiar nature is what informed this kind of taxing system. And in the rest of the world, they are not getting salary. It's wages that they are getting. It's hourly basis that they get paid. So on that hourly basis, the moment you get your money, you are taxed immediately. So here is a salary system. So your salary system indicates that if you escape from paying, if you are not a salary earner, if you escape it and you have your profit that you are making from your business, you can't escape that one too. So it is designed to fit in for us. And that shows you that the person at the end of affair He's an accountant.
As an account. And no, Comrade Lokoba, also the small scale businesses, you can see that now they have
Yes.
the tax relief.
Yes, tax relief.
That
yes.
if you are, if your
almost,
business,
almost a tax holiday.
yes, they have tax holiday. And also, the tax law has also established a uniform rule for tax collection. Now, you won't see a situation whereby federal will collect, state will collect. It's only one body that will collect the taxes and share appropriately between the, receiving.
That may be that may be a problem.
Why do you think it will be a
Because
problem?
before now it was unified like this.
No, it wasn't.
In the past it was unified.
No, they didn't stick to it. Now,
Before they break it down that custom will start collecting, begin to start collecting.
but now the custom will no longer collect.
But the problem at that time was because the bureaucracy of each person having access to his own fund. Then one platform, all of us might be wanting to pay into one platform. So, but let's see how it goes, because then computer
I know, and
certain
even
access were not available.
the minister.
But let's see how it goes. But let's prepare our mind that this model is a temporary model. The permanent model should be a situation where it should be the component part of a country
Yes.
that should be involved in the taxing system. Then the federal government will then also now tax those states, because if you say you have a singular body,
Yes.
which is strange.
How is it strange?
Which is strange because there are things that it is within the purview of the state.
No,
For instance, your resources in your own state
yes.
is your resources.
But under law, there are some resources in your state that are on the exclusive list.
It is not whole.
Pardon?
It is not the whole resources.
Okay, yes.
It is certain type of resources in your state.
Yes, yes.
We are not saying that there should be no go area. That's what we are. That's our position. There should be no go area to certain things. That's what gives state the liberty to attain that development. And that's what makes some states more lazy. This tax is actually to ignite some states to start working.
Yes, I agree.
That's why I say it's temporary. So once you see the money other states are earning, you will wake up. That's when you will now call for that government that, see you, I have so thing at my backyard, and it's the only thing I have.
But
can we begin to discuss it? So it's a continuous thing. The restructuring we are talking about, it's not something you do at a time. It's a gradual process, which is where I'm going. That it's a gradual process like this. So as it comes, you sort it out. As it comes, this is going to take us to the next level. But you can't go to the next level immediately. So
you have to pass through.
Through this process.
Yeah, okay.
And like you have said, the law, in fact, it's one of the policy of the government that has getting the highest applaud.
Absolutely.
Since he became the president.
In fact, I've not seen any opposition to it, Mr.
Except
President.
the accountant who have a way of misdirecting you with profit and loss and depression and things like that. It's a good thing, and we commend the government to do more explanation to Nigeria, so that it won't be me and you, the elite, that will understand the advantage in it.
The man at the bus stop also
Yes,
deserves
also to understand.
to say, okay, this. Yes, I agree absolutely. This is one of the high points of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration.
Yes.
And we also remember that this was one of his manifesto when he was coming.
Yes.
He promised, to reform our tax system.
They try to redefine it.
Yes.
They say there will be more taxes, and they redefine. They say, "I'm going to tax." That's what he meant.
That's not what
this is what he meant.
That's what he meant. Well, you are very correct, Comrade Lokoba. Thank you very much for your submission. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our take on the new tax law in Nigeria. The law has been receiving applause from across all strata of the society, and we only hope that when that law will take effect come January 2026, because there is a 6 months window, to clear the backlogs, to allow for a clean slate for the law to come into effect. That's how it is done in any society. Well, that is where we want to end this discussion on the new tax law. We'll go on the new tax law. We'll go on a short break. We'll be right back. Please continue to watch the conversation coming to you from TV360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. We'll be right back.